the royal
We do nothing
public.
wrong. I mean, we're just perfectly reacting to it. Everyone else is wrong.
Obviously. That's the point of this podcast, is that we are right and people should listen to us. There's your clip, business boys. There's your show promo clip.
Hello and welcome to HR Confessions. I'm Rebecca Taylor.
And I'm Kim Rohrer. We are here bringing you unfiltered perspectives from the world of HR with real stories and hopefully some good advice.
And today, once again, we're joined by another guest co-host. Please welcome Stacey Nordwall.
What? Hey, Stacey.
Stacey is the host and co-producer of Toot and the VP of People Strategy at PIN. And we're so excited to see her. Kim and I have both been on Toot before, so Stacey's got like a really great podcast. So we are finally able to have her on HR Confessions, and we are so pumped.
I am super excited, and I'm a little bit scared that you're going to find out I'm actually a terrible HR person, but it's influenced by having worked in tech startups for the past 15 years and just really going.
We get the full gamut here on HR Confessions. So Don't worry about it. I know you're a great HR person. Rebecca knows you're a great HR person.
You are a great HR person. And that's kind of the thing, is like, this is what we were talking about before we started recording, is that HR might have a playbook. There are boundaries, right? Like, there are things that are legal and not legal. But the thing that makes the job so hard is that so many decisions happen in the gray. So like, when you think about, like, Stacey, you said you were listening to our last story about what happens in Vegas, and, you know, finding your coworker naked in a bathtub is like not something that would have happened to you, right?
No, they don't teach you about that in SHRM certification class. Just putting that out there. That is not something you will learn.
That's what I think. I always think about HR people is we can figure out anything because we are having to figure out random stuff all the time. Like, everything is unscripted. It feels like what happens to employees and what we're dealing with. So, we're always, I think, a group of people very good on our feet.
Yes. Firmly agree, which is why we gave you absolutely no preparation coming into this episode today. And you just get to react and hear what's going on. And I'm going to ask you what you think of the different things that are happening. I will say that this story also has some nudity in it. So I'm going to give you all that heads up.
I'm so scared, Rebecca. You know how I know we've been podcasting for a while now is as soon as Stacey said, you're good on your feet, I immediately was like, oh God, is Rebecca going to segue and say, like, what a great segue, because this episode is actually about feet. And
I couldn't do that.
I'm really glad. But that's how you know that you tell me you host a podcast without telling me you host a podcast.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
man.
This story it doesn't have feet, but it does have it all. It's got misconduct. It's got blurred boundaries.
Awesome.
It's got some truly alarming attachments.
Ooh.
And an HR exec who started her weekend thinking about coffee and ended it thinking about damage control.
Oh boy.
So, are we ready?
Whom among us?
Whom among us?
Ready.
The story takes place relatively recently. So, like, we're not talking ancient lore here. So it's a modern company, fully remote, and employees are spread out over many states. So they're small, but they're mighty. It's the kind of company where, like, everybody knows each other's dogs' names, but still tries to act like they're enterprise ready. So, like, bigger, ready to fill in their bigger shoes, kind of like close and tight. And our HR hero today is Linda. So Linda's an executive at the company. Technically, she's the head of people, but she sits on the leadership team and wears all the hats. So, like, you know, head of people at a 17-person company. She's got recruiting, compliance, employee relations, comms, ops. She does it all, and she's really good at it.
Great.
We love Linda.
Go, Linda.
So it's a Saturday morning, which I'm immediately like, oh, poor Linda, because this story takes place on the weekend, because HR never sleeps.
No.
So Linda wakes up on a Saturday morning and does what so many of us do, even though we shouldn't. She checks her email. And there it is. I know. This is where, like, work-life boundaries, like, really would have come in handy for Linda, but I don't know if she could have escaped this, to be honest. Like, I think it would come for her no matter what.
Oh, boy.
So what she sees is the subject line: employee complaint against Bart Smith. So she doesn't recognize the email address, so she's immediately suspicious. But there is a Bart Smith who works there. Like, he is, like, one of their high up leaders. And again, there are only so many of them who work there, and the language in the subject plus putting a complaint in email isn't really behavior you'd expect from any of their employees. And again, they all work remotely, like, and everybody's in a different state. So like, what kind of employee complaint could we really be talking about here? We barely interact with each other. So when she opens it, I don't even know how to put this. Like,
Oh no.
so I'm going to pause and ask. So like, what do you assume could possibly be in that email based on your own past trauma in HR, knowing that this is good enough to be an HR confession story and that it's has to be something that Linda's dealing with on a weekend?
Is Bart sending dick pics?
I mean, that was my immediate thought was dick pics. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you already said it wasn't feet, so.
It's not feet. You know, it makes you wish for feet though, for like 5 seconds. It's like, I kind of wish it was feet.
Oh no.
Okay, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
So this email isn't just a few bullet points about misconduct, and it's not someone complaining about a missed one-on-one or like a bad Slack message. It's not like something someone said that was like a little off the cuff. It's a long, angry, emotional paragraph accusing Bart, who's again one of the company's most senior executives, of acting inappropriately towards multiple employees. So the language is multiple. And here's where my like irreverent brain goes. I just think of Jersey Shore and I'm like, multiple people in the house know. So therefore you should know too.
Yep. And well, and multiple when you have a company of like 17 people.
17.
That's a high
Right.
percentage. Even
Right.
if it's
So
three,
something's-
like that's a high percentage. Oh boy.
Right. But like something's a little odd here. But what really kills the vibe is what's attached to this email.
Oh no.
And you've got photos. And like, I know there's like not safe for work and no one here, like we're all adults here, right? But these are like not safe for life photos.
Oh no.
So we're talking full body explicit shots, some solo, some very much not solo, all of them showing Bart's face, Bart very much in them. And several of them are very clearly taken in rooms that Linda recognizes, including his actual workspace, which also happens to be his kid's bedroom.
Oh.
And now, a quick word from our sponsor, SkillCycle. SkillCycle is a talent development system that connects performance management to one-to-one coaching and development. The SkillCycle platform aligns individual growth with business objectives through continuous feedback, AI-powered development paths, and leadership training. As a SkillCycle co-founder, I'd love to talk to you out there in our audience, progressive people leaders who really get it. Let's chat over coffee on us to give us some feedback on the episode and about the challenges you're facing today. You might just contribute to a topic on our next episode. Email us today at hrconfessions@skillcycle.com. That's hrconfessions@skillcycle.com.
Oh no, 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 no.
So like,
no.
you know, when you're used to working remotely with people, it's like, you know, their general setup, right? So it's like, oh, I've taken so many Zoom calls with Bart with that race car bed in the background. And now here he is in all his glory.
Oh, Bart, what are you thinking, my dude?
So clearly they're pictures
Not
that
my
Bart
dude.
took
I am
and
not
sent.
claiming you. Not my dude.
The general, the royal, my dude.
Oh,
Yeah. So the email claims to be written on behalf of multiple employees, but the company only has like 17 people, and almost all of them are like nowhere near Bart. So
Right.
like everyone's in different states, but Bart is like apparently the farthest away from everybody. So like it's highly unlikely. Most of them have never even met him in person. Like that's how it's just like, what the frick is going on?
Yeah. Okay.
and do they recognize any of the other people in the pictures?
It's just Bart's face and like other bodies.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Hard to tell if it's all the same body, which we will get to, or if it's like multiple people in the same
Bart
types of
is
positions.
Sending these photos to
someone.
coworkers, to a coworker at least.
Well, possibly.
Maybe.
That's a good thing. Could be that he's
Accidentally
sending the
uploading
things.
them onto the company intranet.
But the way that this came off, Linda's also like, is this person insinuating that that's an employee with him? Is that like Bart and an employee? Like, because the content of the email, I didn't get specifics, specifically specifics, but it was basically like Bart is having inappropriate relations with people. So not, which I guess could be sending pictures, but yeah.
But we don't know who's in the photo other than him. We don't know if he's sending the pictures or if maybe someone got pictures from his laptop cam and he's been, there's a data privacy security thing happening.
And you said the email came from an email address that like wasn't a company email address. It came from like an anonymous a burner account.
Yep, it was like a burner account, and it wasn't even like a name. It was like
a whistleblower,
ABC123,
an anonymous whistleblower email.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And so Linda starts doing like HR math.
The dogs were like,
I know.
No.
My dog Kevin, he's like, no, please no.
Oh boy.
So Linda starts doing like the HR math. Like she's like, okay, let's just think this through for a second. This is a company where everyone's remote. There's not much interaction outside Zoom and Slack. There's no record of any prior complaints, no whispers, no performance flags, no exit interviews pointing toward Bart being a problem. But the email is detailed like someone who's been paying close attention. And so it's like someone might have been like waiting for a moment like this. Mm-hmm. And they were holding on to these and like waiting for their moment.
A log.
Yes. So Linda,
I'm sorry, can I ask you one other question? Are the complaints in the log, are they work related or are they all about Bart's inappropriate photos?
They're about Bart having inappropriate relations with people at work.
Okay.
And the photos were submitted as evidence of this happening.
I have a suspicion, but I'm going to wait to see if I'm correct.
I'm curious if you're correct, but we'll hold off on it for the big reveal. So you're HR, you're Linda, you have this. What do you do? What do you do right now? It's Saturday morning. You're like, oh, there goes my hike. What are you going to do now?
Now
it's Saturday morning. I close the laptop and enjoy my weekend and deal with this on Monday.
I would say, I would not have checked on the Saturday morning to begin with. And I kind of agree with Kim. Like, what are you really going to do? I mean, to do anything, you would have to be messaging other people who are presumably also on their weekends. So it's not like you're going to get much of a response. Right. But I will say this is now making me wish for the previous episode, the Vegas episode, because if the HR person, this is what I was saying at the beginning about being a terrible HR person working at tech startups. If it was alcohol related and it was somebody who partied too hard, I'd be like, unsubscribe. I would not be involved at all. Just be like, I'll see you when you've had some Gatorade. But this is like something, like you said, she's not escaping it. We're not escaping this problem. We would definitely have to investigate Monday morning.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Starting Monday morning.
Yeah. Well, since Linda's the type to check her email on Saturday mornings, she's not going to leave it to Monday. Mm-hmm. So she has, she forwards the email to, she doesn't forward the email. She contacts her two co-executives. So she writes another email to her two co-executives. So it's like, we're going to call them Raj and Danielle. And she just wants to see if like they also got a weird email. So she's not forwarding anything. She's like keeping it where it is. But she's like, hey, did you guys like get anything? And spoiler alert, they got it too.
Oh.
So what's your move? If you and two other execs, at least two other execs that you know of, because Raj and Danielle, they're like the three of them, they're like the Trinity, right? So it's like they each got one. Who else could have gotten one? Is it the whole company that got one? Like, what's your move if you and two other execs get this and it's got dick pics in it? Like, where do you even start? Do you still wait till Monday? Is that still your stance? The long sigh.
I mean, this is kind of an interesting one because if you have pics, right? For all we know, I mean, there's all kinds of things that could be going. They could be like AI deepfake generated. They could be, personal photos that were, we have no idea what the photos are about. And we know they came from someone anonymously. We don't really, maybe it is an employee, maybe it's not. We don't really know. I think I would be wondering at this point, like, if there was a way to see if everyone in the company did get it, if there would be a way to make sure that they weren't seeing the photos, because also, like, that's not great. Like, nobody's asking to see those photos. I think both for them and for the person who's in the photos, that's not the thing you want to have happen. So that might be, I mean, I would just kind of go into triage mode of like, what is the most critical thing? I think the most critical thing would be if there's a way to make sure other people aren't getting the photos, at least initially. I don't know, Kim, what do you think?
Yeah. Changes the game when you know at least 2 other people have received it. I would check with my 2 co-execs to see if theirs came from the same email address that mine did, or if this person is using a different burner email for each email. Assuming, hopefully, that it's the same email address, I think I would dash a quick email off to the team and say, we've received an email from this email address. Like multiple employees have received an email from this email address. Please do not open any of the attachments. We're trying to verify whether or not it's malware. And I would just like put the like, maybe this is, we don't know who sent it. We don't know what could be lurking in these pictures. I'm assuming it's possible for like you said, Stacey, like deep fake AI pictures that will make someone want to click on them and then it's malware for your computer. Like I assume that kind of shit is possible. And we just want to like prevent as many people from opening it as we can, and saying this may be spam and we don't like it may be suspicious content, don't open it, is a better way to get people not to open something than to say, these are dick pics, don't open it.
Yeah.
And I would check it. I would check in with my 2 co-execs, even though I don't want to be working on a Saturday. I would check in with my 2 co-leads and just be like, hey, here's what I think we should do. Let's do this, and that'll buy us some time, and then we can deal with this shit on Monday.
Yeah. So Linda does contact Raj and Danielle, like once they confirm that like they got something weird too, they just like hop on a quick call. And they're trying to kind of piece together the parts that don't make sense. And they're also trying to be like, okay, how do we make sure that if anyone else in the company did get this, that they don't open it? So they do what you said, Kim. They send along an email that's like, hey, if you get this, don't open it. It could be malware, it could be phishing, just like, don't touch it. And so like, but they're still like, the vibe is off. This is kind of weird. So they decide that they're going to do something that they've kind of been dreading doing, but they feel like they have to do. And they call Bart. Yeah. Because they like,
have to at some
Bart
point.
needs to know. Yeah. Even though it's Saturday, Bart deserves to know like what's going on.
That someone sent us naked pictures of him in his child's bedroom.
Yeah. And that they're making possibly false claims or possibly true claims, right? Like at this point, both, it's like Schrödinger's dick pic. Like it could be anything.
Yes. Is that the title of EP? Schrödinger's dick pic?
Maybe. It depends on how censored we need to be. But so they call him, and I was kind of surprised by where this went. I wasn't surprised. I was just disappointed, to quote you, Kim.
Thank you.
So when they confront Bart, like carefully over Zoom, he doesn't act surprised. So like he's not angry, and he's just like defeated. So he sighs and he goes, I was wondering when this would hit here. So he tells them the truth that he's sticking with, the version that he's sticking with. Several months ago, he had an affair. The woman he was seeing didn't take the breakup well. So at some point he said that he wanted to stop seeing her. She didn't take the breakup well. Since then, members of his extended family, aunts, cousins, even his teenage niece, have received similar emails with the same photos. And he thought she was done after that. So she's like going after his family. Because I think he's at least married. I think he has like a family. Like this is not something that he wants out there.
Yeah.
And he thought that she was done, but no. So now she's escalated it, and now she's coming for his job. So I'm going to pause. what are some of the considerations that go through your HR brain when a senior exec says, I'm being blackmailed by a scorned lover, and your inbox is full of his dick?
Well said, Rebecca. Oh. I mean, I feel bad for this guy. If this is the true story, like, I feel bad for him, even though he should not have had an affair and documented the evidence of his affair. That has nothing to do with his work performance and shouldn't be relevant in the workplace. And the fact that this person is coming after him at work is a problem. If he did not send these pictures to people, then like he hasn't done anything wrong at work. And so I don't know, I would probably just say like, wow, that really sucks. I'm sorry. Do you need to take some time off to deal with this? Here's the number for our EAP.
Here's someone you can talk to.
Yeah. And then I would just be, I don't know, because it's not my job as HR, and it shouldn't be to like get involved further than this. Like, I shouldn't step in to help him, like if he needs to get a restraining order or like do anything. Like, it has nothing to do with his performance at work. I can try to like remove this email from our servers or like prevent it from being distributed further. I can block this email address. I can send the person an email and say, this sounds like a private matter. Like, you are sending pornography to a workplace, and I caution you against that, and like, let this be the end of it for me as an HR person. And then he needs to deal on his own with, I mean, this is a revenge porn situation. This is like illegal activity. And if I'm taking his word for it, which like at this point, I think taking Bart's word for it over the word of an anonymous emailer is probably my default move. And letting him know that if he needs to take some personal time to deal with this, he has our support, and good luck, buddy.
What about risk for the company? Sorry, Stacey, what's your take?
Oh, I was going to say, I agree with that. The one question that I have is just because earlier when you were talking about the email, the way you framed it, or the way it was framed to you, was that it seemed as though the person did know the workplace, was familiar with the workplace, or that there were some, relevant details in there. So I'm curious about that a little bit more. And if there is some, kind of
ask Bart if it was like, was this a coworker that you had the affair with?
Well, yeah, if there's just some kind of lightweight questioning just to make sure that it is completely not work related. Because otherwise I agree with, what Kim, what you're saying is like the part of that, it is a very, it sucks for him. The part of it that is truly work related though is fairly slim unless we find out something, more. So
that someone couldn't have known unless they worked there.
Yeah. So that's just from what you had said initially. That's in the back of my mind of like, are there some questions we need to ask just to confirm that
that's
this
a good
is
call.
really not work related? So
yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah. So as far as the contents of the email goes, there wasn't anything that was specific about what the company did or what was going on specifically, but there was a lot of knowledge about Bart's job and role and what kind of pressure he was under. So it's kind of the sort of information that could have been known by someone at the company, but also could have been something that you talk about in the throes of, not the throes of passion, but maybe after.
With your lover.
Or before.
No.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So they very much knew his rank in the company, and they understood that he was a high powered executive. And the way that they timed it means that there was some sort of malicious intent with the timing potentially, because this company is in the middle of getting acquired. So they know this, and now there's documentation on their server that, you know, Bart's all over the place, and that this now opens up a lot of risk for exposure. And depending on how far it goes, it could even risk the acquisition unless someone does something.
Yeah, I mean, even if the risk is just that the acquiring company doesn't want to be associated with, you know, sexually based extortion. Like even if it's
right.
like, we just don't want to be anywhere, we don't want to touch this, we're not going to acquire you anymore.
Yeah.
You know, even if Bart did nothing wrong, and even if the company did nothing wrong, they might just not want to be associated with this.
Exactly. Yeah.
But also, like, again, I think if the person he was having an affair with is an employee, current or former, I think there is more reason for HR to be involved, even though this is a personal matter, because there's like a potential power dynamic. This could be like a very serious investigation. If it is someone outside of work who just happens to know a lot about his work, then unfortunately this is like a, Bart, you need to get your shit together. Go figure this out.
Yeah. There's the part for me too that's like, he says that this has been going on for months, and he was like, oh, I was hoping it wouldn't get this far, or I was hoping that it wouldn't come to bite me here. And so I question the judgment. So like, you know, because first of all, the judgment of like documenting your affair, whatever, to each their own. It's like, that's not a great move.
No.
But there's also you are a high-powered executive. You didn't disclose anything. You didn't even have a conversation that there was stuff that could, like, this person is finding emails for his teenage niece. So they're finding, so like they're finding things, and they're not afraid to send things out. So where Raj, Danielle, and Linda kind of get to is like, it's bad enough if this comes into the company. But Bart's also meeting with investors. He's meeting with like the acquiring company. So he's kind of the face of the company in a lot of ways. I don't know his role, his position, but he's high up enough that he's very, very visible.
Yeah.
And this person clearly has no issues blackmailing him, or like,
right.
They I don't know. I don't even know what they're after, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Not that, no. So that was my question too. I was like, do they want the company to pay them off or something? And they never responded to the email or anything. So the only stuff that was in the email was just that they wanted him fired for like what they did, for what he did. So it's like, okay. And like Linda and Raj and Danielle are trying to be like really neutral, but they worked really hard to get the company to where it is. This acquisition, you know how it is. It's only 17 people. So like they're probably getting acquired pretty early on, which could be like a decent payout. It's got like, there's like the personal gain part, there's the company risk part, there's the fiduciary responsibility part. And so like they make a decision because it's not really about, the decision wasn't about the photos. It was about risk. So they realize that like, if this woman is bold enough to email the entire executive team, she's got it out for Bart, and they're realizing that it's just not worth the gamble, like keeping Bart, assuming that this woman's like she's not gonna go any further. Her only ask was that Bart gets fired. And so that's what they've decided to do.
No, really?
Yep.
That's rough.
Yep.
I don't know if I agree with that.
We don't negotiate with terrorists.
Yeah. That was what they did.
Yeah, I don't.
What would you have done, Stacey?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not into that. I mean, to your point about the judgment of him, knowing that all of this was happening, and the person was emailing, family and sending these photos everywhere, I could see not saying anything to work about that. Like if that's me and I'm in, like what Kim said, kind of this revenge porn situation, I don't know that I'm rushing to tell my work and bring that there if that's not needed. Like that, I don't think, just from a personal perspective, I would do that either, because that's really vulnerable, and like that opens up all. I don't think I would do that either. I think if there was a conversation to be had about, hey, he's been the face of this acquisition. It's really important. I don't think it becomes an HR decision. I think it becomes an exec team decision of, do we put forward someone else to continue to have these conversations? Do we, you know, have him, you know, partner with some, either switch him out entirely or have him partner with someone so investors are seeing someone other than just him? But I think, you know, in this situation, it's hard to say that he did something wrong in a work context, you know, like morally, I maybe, but that's not work. If he is doing his job and, you know, that this is this was the first bleed over into it, and then to lose your job. I mean,
he could sue for wrongful termination, you know, like that's in California. If they're in California, it's at will, you know, there's lots of tricky things here, but like, what did he do that was a terminable offense? And I probably would have just put him on leave, put him on like administrative leave and been like, hey, take a week off and handle your shit. Because if she comes after our investors, if she goes to the media, like I don't know how public the company is in terms of like media. Like, I don't know. Maybe nobody cares. Maybe TechCrunch has it on the front page. You know, I don't know. But I would put him on administrative leave, basically paid. I would put him on paid leave and be like, handle your stuff. We're going to let our investors and people working on the acquisition know that like you've had to take a personal leave of absence. This is who's going to be in charge of the acquisition now. People take personal leaves of absence all the time. You know, you could say you're dealing with a family matter or something. And
they're there for a reason.
You know, like step out temporarily and like resolve this, whether you need to get the police involved, whether you need to like have a mediated conversation with this lady, like, and this is all assuming that the story he told is the truth, right? Like we're assuming truthful, we're assuming Bart is being forthcoming with us here. But that's what I would do. I would put him on a temporary leave of absence, take him off the acquisition, and say he's taking time off to deal with some personal stuff, and tell him to keep us posted.
I would talk to a lawyer too. Like if I were in that position and you know, you're worried about the risk of the company, you're worried about this. There's also you're in the middle of an acquisition, right? There's also a risk that ending Bart's employment could ruin your acquisition chances too.
Totally.
What if like they're acquiring you because Bart's the guy?
And just like having a high up executive exit in the middle of an acquisition is not favorable. Really.
It's not great. It's not great. So that's the part, because this was an anonymous voice note that was sent to me. So I didn't get the benefit of being able to ask additional questions. But the main one that I want to know is like, did you talk to a lawyer? So if you were listening to this, please let us know. You can reply anonymously again and just like let us know. Like, did you talk to a lawyer? Was that the guidance that they gave? Did the acquisition go through? Do you still work there? Like, I have a lot of questions like that. But what they did do is that, so they did decide to let him go. And it seems like he was ready to go quietly because he's embarrassed, right? Like, it's just, because this is also just, he's not just losing his job. He's not just losing like possibly like a great resume builder, this, you know, leading this acquisition or being part of it, whatever role it was like pretty important apparently. But this is also, his whole family knows that he's been having an affair. And so there's also the whole breakdown of his home life, personal life. Like this is just a lot. And so like they pay him out a severance. And they basically prepare a statement in case anyone asks, like what happened. I guess when they say that, they mean like employees, because I'm sure obviously like the acquiring company is going to want to know, and I'm sure employees will ask.
Well, with such a small company, you have to say something. You can't just like
he's not going to be
move the senior leader out of a 17-person company.
Right. And like, so the thing that happened after that is like they went into sort of like, they're like, okay, like he's gone, like it's, you know, closed out, whatever. I'm sure he signed some sort of a separation agreement, however you can hold those up, whatever it is. And then Linda spends the next 2 weeks scrubbing his digital footprint from like every fundraising doc, internal deck, and partner facing material for like new stuff. Yeah. So it's like he never worked there. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. And like my question was going to be like, do you think they made the right call? But I know we already kind of started to talk about that. So like, Kim, you put him on leave. So. Stacey, what would you do?
Yeah. I mean,
what would you have done?
I don't think that was a good call. I think it's hard to, like Kim said, in terms of, what was a fireable offense within what he did. Especially if he was performing well, he was leading this acquisition, right? Like he was obviously, pretty important to the company. And so it seems like an odd move to me for them to kind of capitulate, especially given, like one anonymous email. I understand there were pictures, but also there's nothing within those pictures that would indicate, work wrongdoing in a work context, right?
Or even that he was like engaging in illegal activities, like distasteful activities, perhaps. But like, it wasn't like
he's not the one blackmailing,
right? And it's not like they were pictures of him doing illegal things where it's like, hey, you should know that this employee is guilty of a federal crime. Yeah. Or like stealing money. You don't want an employee who's stealing money during your acquisition. Like they're like,
right.
He did something personally that is morally, ethically wrong to many, many listeners, many people. But yeah, he didn't like, the only thing I keep thinking of is like, did he put the company at risk? But he didn't put the company at risk. The blackmailer put the company at risk. Like if he had sent the photos to an employee, then I would fire him. But like, I don't know. He's being punished for being blackmailed. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, and
so the decision was about risk. Yeah. Just calling it back.
I think to your point, Kim, it's like there are ways to have said, he's going on a personal leave, and so is going to move forward with the acquisition and work on that, right? And give him a chance to address whatever he can,
sort out his life.
Yeah. I hope he pressed criminal charges at that point. That person on that person, like, geez,
totally. Like, give him some time off to deal with that. But like, God, I feel really bad I feel so bad for this adulterer. Like,
well, it sucks. Like, it's, the whole thing sucks. Yeah. Like, there's
he's not a hero, but he also didn't do anything that's deserving of being fired from his job.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is interesting too, though, right? Because I think this case and some of the other ones that you've talked about, it is this bleeding of like personal things that come into the workplace. And, while we may have different feelings about whatever it is that is personal that comes into the workplace, what we have to really look at is this affecting their performance? Is this, not in compliance with employment law? Like those are the kinds of things that we have to really kind of anchor on, and also like our own culture and morality, right? Because sometimes employment law is stupid, but like in this particular situation, it's hard to say that that those are things that should have bled into the workplace and should have caused him to lose his job.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, I think it's like, this is where at-will employment is sort of an interesting concept, because it's like, at the end of the day, there are employment laws, but at-will employment is sort of where I get a lot of these types of stories where it's just like, oh, this thing happened and it got this person fired. And I'm like, I'm always like, is that fireable? But technically anything could be considered, or, it could just kind of be like, well, we just decided not to have them here anymore.
With it.
Yeah. And so I think it's like, it's if it were, I hope they talk to a lawyer. That's still the main thing. I have no idea if the acquisition went through. I have no follow-up notes, which I'm very curious about.
I want them.
I know. I hate when like things are just like left hanging. But there's also like the thing that they said was that like they made the decision not based on Bart's behavior explicitly, but on the risk that it presented to the company and them not wanting to compromise their investors.
I think there are other ways to mitigate that risk that don't involve unnecessarily firing someone.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry,
think
whoever submitted this. I don't think this was the right call.
I think also, to your point, if the assumed risk is, okay, that if we don't do anything, this person is then going to escalate it to investors, right? They don't know that that's going to happen, but that's what they're assuming. If that did happen, I think there is a conversation that could have been had there of like, hey, this is a kind of a personal thing that has happened, and this person is, kind of basically blackmailing him, engaging in revenge porn or whatever, and framing it in a way that isn't, I think, harmful to the company. People understand that crappy things happen in this world. And it's, I don't know. I'm curious truly if it had come out, if it had gone forward, would that tank a deal? Like,
Right. I mean, how many investors have had affairs? I'm just saying. Like, what if this happened to you? Like, you would want to be given a chance, right? I think that's a big assumption. Like you said, Stacey, I think it's a big assumption that I don't think it's that far of a leap to assume that she would send it to the investors, given how many other people she sent it to. But I think it's not a fair assumption to say that that is automatically going to tank the deal. That just says that you're not supporting this employee, because the company could very easily tell a story that shows empathy and compassion towards someone in a really difficult position who probably makes them more relatable to their investors. I said it. I'm just saying, we know the profile of so much of Silicon Valley. At least somebody who's putting up a term sheet knows someone who has had a similar experience.
I feel like if it happened now, like if this was today, it would be celebrated or something. Like it would be like, yeah, look at this guy. I don't know.
I don't know if I go that far, but I think at least it would be understandable.
Yeah, I feel like nothing's like sacred anymore, but
yeah, I mean, there's just like such an easy story to tell here. I'm always like, what's the story? Like, there's such an easy story to tell here about an employee who, like, he did something in his personal life that we may find objectionable, but he's also being blackmailed with revenge porn, and like, we support our employee because he hasn't done anything wrong at work, and he's taking some time off to deal with this. Like, that is like, if it got out to enough people that like, we're not trying to keep it private,
Yeah. It's like, this can go away without like this person going away.
Further ruining his life.
I mean, I feel like there is, obviously the stated reason is a risk, but I also can see an underlying thing of them just being like, we just don't want to deal with this, so bye, and that's really more than anything what it comes down to, is they didn't want to have to deal with that happening again, or further, having to deal with if that person continued to escalate it within the workplace, and just saying, well, this is an easy way. We're just gonna end it right here. So
they didn't want to have to deal with it, and so they're like, screw it, we're gonna cut the cord.
Yeah,
it's just
could have
too
been
bad.
Like a distraction.
It would be such an opportunity to demonstrate, commitment to your employees and be a supportive employer.
Yeah. I always wonder too,
People get
like,
scared.
what was there? I mean, not that this matters, but my curiosity just leans in. Like, I'm just like, what is this person's personality? Like, what are they, what was their reception in the company? Right. Cause like, I wonder
like
if
he was
there
well
was
liked and had no
it sounds
complaints
like he
against
was
him.
powerful. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
maybe
sounds
I'm
like he
just
was
assuming
powerful,
he
but
was
yeah,
well
maybe he
liked.
was.
Because he was good
I
at
don't
his
know.
job. He had no complaints against him. He was very senior.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Because like there's always, because there is always the element of like people being out of their depth, so like not navigating things the right way. There's also the, like Stacey, you said, like, I just don't want to deal with this. But sometimes there's also the, you know, some people are just kind of looking for a reason. And I always wonder if it's like, you know, if he were, it's kind of like the opposite situation of our last story, where it was like this guy was really liked, and that's why everybody was like, no, we got to go help him, we got to go save him. And so I wonder what I don't know, maybe I'm reading too far into it, or I'm just thinking about the last episode so much, but like maybe this is like, well, we didn't like him anyway, so like we might as well get rid of him.
Could be.
I don't know, which has its own level of, you know, level of risk.
Right.
It's like, I know that there's like we're, you know, always talking to investors. We work with venture-backed companies. We're a venture-backed company at Skill Cycle. So it's like we're in that world a lot too. And I feel like there's just a different role for every, I don't know, for every investor group, and just for every leadership group. So there's not a lot of sort of consistency. And this is kind of like what we were talking about earlier, is like so much of this stuff lives in the gray. Yeah. And a lot of it is really just like judgment call, just making the quote unquote best decision that you can make with what you've got at the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for this depressing story.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. So like moral, don't check your email on a Saturday.
Right.
Like that's a start. Like
you don't want your weekend ruined.
Yep. Just don't even go there. And maybe make sure you talk to a lawyer if you're ever in a situation like this. I really do think that anytime there's like,
if you're having an affair, don't take pictures. Leave your face in your kid's bedroom. That was a bad call. That was a weird one. A really bad call, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a weird one.
That does show a lack of judgment. But
yeah. Hey, we're all human, right?
That's right. That's right.
And like, I kind of feel bad for everyone. I feel bad for Bart. I feel bad for Linda. Like Linda's she's doing her best, like just trying to make her way in a messy world. Raj and Danielle too, they're only kind of featured as like, they're just the executives that like she works with and who she makes a decision with. I wonder who her lawyer is, or who the lawyer is, or if they were involved. And I wonder if they ended up getting acquired. Like I just have this is like, it's always just sort of like, I want to know more. But that's all I've got. Does anyone have any last thoughts or last things that they want to share with everybody?
I'm going to go scrub my brain out. And I was like, enjoy my weekend. We're recording this on a Wednesday. It's not a weekend yet.
Lemon, it's Wednesday. Use any excuse to quote 30 Rock.
Yeah, always.
Yep. Well, then that's it for our episode of HR Confessions. Thank you, Stacey, so much for coming and for listening to these twisted stories with us. Everybody should give a listen to Tutor Boot and should subscribe to the Tutor Boot newsletter. It's a zine, so you can actually feel like you're like turning pages. It's really fun. And if you've got a story to share, you can email us at hrconfessions@skillcycle.com. We take anonymous voice notes. You can send me messages on LinkedIn. There's so many ways you can submit your info. And so if you are Linda, please let us know how it went. You can follow up anonymously. Just answer some of the general questions that we're asking. That would be like really cool. And just remember that just because you work from home, it doesn't mean that you're safe from HR drama. It is everywhere all the time. So thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.